So just like you need to use care when you're maneuvering a forklift, you have to also work with loads in a way that ensures balance and stability so that you don't tip over. It's especially important when you're operating on rough terrain. OSHA mandates that you secure a load so it's safely arranged and it's stable, that you avoid carrying damaged merchandise, and that you make sure not to exceed your vehicle's weight limit. You're required to center the load as nearly as possible. OSHA actually defines the load center as the distance from the face of the forks to the load's center of gravity. A forklift rated as using a 24-inch load center requires the load center of gravity to be 24 inches or less from the face of the forks. And if you aren't able to center it, then you have to distribute the heaviest part of the load nearest the front wheels of the forklift. When approaching the load, move slowly, stopping 8 to 12 inches in front and making sure that you're squarely facing the load with forks at the right height. Put the control in neutral and don't move the forks until the forklift has stopped and the brakes set. Only then can you lift the load. Your mast position is also important. OSHA has a number of rules, of course, as you should use extreme caution when you're tilting loads. Never travel with the load tilted forward. This increases the load distance and it makes it less stable. Only tilt forward when you're picking up or dropping off a load, and use caution when positioning the load on a stack. You may tilt backward, but no more than necessary to stabilize a load when tiering or stacking. And when handling loads that are close to capacity, tilt the mast back so that the heaviest part of the load is against the carriage, and travel in that position to keep the load stable. As for the forks, you should level them before inserting them as far as possible into a pallet. They should be at least 2/3 the length of the load. Adjust the forks so that the weight's evenly distributed between them. Tilt the mast back to stabilize the load. Use caution when you're picking up an off-center load because, again, this poses a greater risk of a tip over. So what do you do if, after all the careful loading and cautious driving, you experience a tip over? There are different ways to respond depending on the type of tip over and the class of forklift that you're driving. You might tip forward in a longitudinal tip, or sideways in a lateral tip. I don't think you'll be thinking about the vocab at the time, but you should learn how to respond. Now that's actually another training. But to find out the best way for you to respond, I recommend you find and read the warning label that's on your forklift so that you'll know what to do in those specific circumstances.